Hey everybody, this is a light language transmission. It's basically inspired by a few things. Working with the toxic effects of vaccination is something I've been doing for many, many years. I'd say 15 years at least, where in my healing clinics I would, where I was doing mostly multidimensional craniosacral therapy back then, little bits of light language coming through and other modalities coming in, but it was basically helping children who had their vaccinations to recover, especially those that had become autistic after their vaccinations, and even sometimes many years before. So they may have been 14 years old, and we're talking about their 2-year-old jabs, where they got speech regression, where they had started to speak, and then after their jabs they lost their speech and they lost skills, they stopped being able to socialise, all those kind of things. So partly the codes that I'm going to bring through are coming from the times where I worked a lot with that in clinics, and had very good success back in those days of really noticeable changes even 14 years later, as they started to regain skills that they had lost for a long time by working with the energetics, and releasing the toxicity and the shock and allowing the body to come back into balance. But also in the last few weeks with the current situation, and of course the vaccinations being rolled out now in large numbers, I work in a hospital part-time doing medical tests, and as I'm an empath, I can't help but actually just my presence in the hospital, I feel all sorts of things going on in the hospital through my body and my emotions, and I can be walking along the corridor and suddenly be bent over in pain because I can feel something that's going on in one of the patients. So I am constantly working with energy in that environment, and then I see patients myself there, so I'm working with them as well, not against their will, and it's also not intentional for me. It's just that my energy clears things that are going on for them because they're in my presence. So the codes that are in my energy field work with them if at a higher level they require and want it, it comes through for them. And what's happened in the last couple of weeks is I woke up one morning with incredible pain in my lower back and in my legs, and I almost felt I couldn't go to work, but I knew that it wasn't mine because I hadn't done anything to have incredible back pain and very achy muscles in my legs, and just not feeling well. And when I got into work, my colleague had just had his vaccination, and he was saying that he'd had it 5 days earlier and had a really bad reaction. He was in a lot of pain. He'd been on painkillers since then, wasn't able to function for a couple of days, but that actually this particular day that I was working with him, and I'd woken up with the pain in my back, all the symptoms he had left was terrible back pain, lower back pain, and really achy leg muscles. So that was working through my field and my body. And as that works through, I get the codes in my energy field that are then available for whoever I'm working with, or they're actually available in the collective energy then once they've come in. So healers can pick up those codes and frequencies. and work with clients with them. And then yesterday, when I went in and I was seeing my patients, about 11 o'clock in the morning, I started to feel a jab in my arm and a pain like I just had a vaccination. So I was aware that they are doing vaccinations in the hospital, and I just, allowed it to work through. But within a couple of hours, I had multiple jabs in both arms, and my muscles were really achy, and then I've had to move that through, and it's just finally released. All the tension in my lower back has released this morning now, and my neck, got a bit of a stiff neck, that all released. So all my cerebrospinal fluid and everything's all kind of coming back into balance now. And so at that point, I felt guided to bring through the codes into a general offering for those who have chosen to get any vaccination at this time, because it's relevant to all vaccinations, as I've been working with them for a long time. But even specifically the current rollout. So anyone who has had that current rollout, my intention is to bring the codes through in light language, which is a way that you can receive it without even having to consciously understand it, because the sounds have codes in them, like keys that unlock things in your DNA, in your energy field. They speak directly to your body and soul. They're beyond the comprehension of the brain. You don't need to consciously understand it. So if you would like to receive these codes, please just get into a comfortable position, relax, open up your heart, tell your body it's safe. And I've put 2 paintings with this video, which also contain light codes. The first one's called Serenity, and it harmonizes you with your environment. So it harmonizes anything that doesn't match your system. It harmonizes you to it, and it harmonizes anything around. So it's a harmonizing. It reduces sensitivity, and it really helps the immune system, because the immune system is about your connection to anything outside of you and whether it works for your body. So it's like the defense system for your body. So this harmonizes you with anything that is coming in from the outside that is not identified as you, such as viruses. And then the second one is called Sanctity. I sometimes also call it Purity. And that one clears any negative energies, any negativity, any negative intentions. It purifies and detoxes. Okay, so the light language is about to come through. Ashakatakakato sotoko choboko koko sotoko koto boko koko kota chakabasakata boko toko ko isakataka choko koto toko butaka chakabakata takaboko koto choko toko 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 ko asakachaka choko sotoko butaka toko choko sotoko butaka toko koto choko bosata kakata kakata koko koko asachaka kato ko botoko choko sotoko bakata choko sotoko butika choko bosoko botoko choko sotoko botoko popo asachasa pataka boko toko choko sakata boko boko toko choko sotoko botoko Akachasakata boko koko toko choko sotoko botoko koko botoko koko toko choko asakachakata kako toko choko sotoko botaka chakata taka botaka toko choko sotoko botoko choko toko sotoko choko Asa choka putoka kataka choko soto kuputoko kotoko soto kochopo kotoko toko akacha sakapata katoko kocho soko putoko koso toko putoko choko soto kaputoko choko soto kuputoko kotoko chopoko asa chakapata sakata kaputoko choko putaka taka poko chopoko sata kapata kitoko kotoko soto kotoko akacha sabata kako soto pakachoko soto putaka kitoko chopo soto kotoko kapata kochopo asa chakapata sakapata kapata kitoko kapata kapata kapoko chokopata kasata kapata kachopoko toko chokopoko akachopo toko soto poko chopoko toko soto kapata choko soto kapata koko asa chasapata kakata koko soto kapata kachopasa kapata kapata kapoko toko chopo koko. Okay, they're wanting me to also explain that I've been on the intensive care unit testing patients with the virus and also on the COVID wards working with patients who have the virus, and that there are codes not just for the effects of vaccination here, but also to help you transmute anything related to the virus or the variant of the virus. Akachoko sotoko pataka toko akachesa pataka toko choko asakataka toko chopoko sotoko pataka chopoko to asachaka sapataka toko sotoko pataka chopasaka toko asachasa pataka sataka chopoko sotoko pataka chopoko toko asachasa kataka sataka chopoko sotoko toko chopo asakataka choko sotoko pataka choko sotoko pataka choko to asachasa kapataka katoko toko sotoko pataka chopaka satoko asachasa kapataka toko choko sotoko pataka toko asachasa kapataka toko chopasaka toko asachasa kapataka toko chopasaka kapataka toko asachasa kapataka toko satapaka choko asachasa kapataka toko pataka chopaka sataka toko akakataka satapaka toko chopasaka toko ikataka sapataka choko sotoko pitika toko chopasaka pataka toko asachasa kapataka toko sotoko to ataka akoko toko asakaka kataka choko satapaka toko sotoko asataka toko choboko toko sita poko taka chopoko taka pataka toko sotoko pataka toko ikitoko pataka soko pataka to akataka sapataka toko pataka chopaka satapaka toko patika topo isataka pataka toko pataka sataka chopoko satapaka chopoko pataka toko akataka sataka pataka toko choboko toko sataka pataka to asachaka pataka toko chopo pataka toko sataka koko ikakaka toko sotaka toko pataka toko akata sapataka toko pataka chopoko toko sapataka toko asataka pataka toko chopo sataka pataka toko sotoko pataka toko batata Lata basakata bobo. Asapataka chuboko sotoko pataka chuboko toko sotapatoko boko toko chuboko. Asataka taka kito toko sotoko pataka chubo sotoko patoko chubo taka pataka sapatoko boko. Iskata pataka chubo sotoko pataka chubo sotoko pataka toko. Akasataka pataka toko sotoko toko chuboko sotoko pataka chuboko. Asataka pataka toko chuboko sotoko chuboko to. Asapataka pataka chuboko toko pataka chopoko stoka pataka chopaka taka sopoto pataka tip kotobo toko pataka popo asapataka taka toko chopo sotoko pataka toko pokoto ikataka toko pataka chopoko sotoko pataka toko chakata asataka pataka chopoko sotoko topo asataka pataka toko popo ikatapataka toko chopoko sotoko to akataka pataka toko chopoko toko pataka toko ta
Katabetakatakoko, Asatakabetakatako, Asatakabetakatako, Isatakabetakatako, Isatakabaka akatakatako sotoko toko choko sotoko toko choboko. Isatapataka toko 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 sakatobo toko 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 to. Asataka taka toko 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 to. Asataka pataka taka taka toko 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 toko. Asataka chibasa taka pataka toko toko. Asapataka toko boko ataka pataka toko 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 chiboso toko pataka toko boko. Asataka pachaka toko boto atabatika topo. Asataka pachika toko poto koko to soko toko boko toko chibo soko toko boko toko pakataka boko koko. I feel the harmonizing energy coming in now. That was clearing. Now there's a harmonizing energy coming in. Akata patiko choboko soto kapataka toko boko soto kapataka chobo soko toko 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 chipataka sapataka toko to. Asataka pataka toko to soko toko 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 chiboko toko sotaka pataka toko boko toko to. Asapataka toko toko chesaka pataka toko to. Asataka chopotoko, akata pakata takapatakata, akatabitoko, akataboko, akadobotoko, takasabotoko, toko, asapataka tokoto, atako, tokobatakata, katokocho, asatokopoti, katakapataka, city, pokotokacho, so tokopotoko, asatika batakacho, katapataka, katakasatapakati pokoto, apatasaka patakacho, soko, tokopataka, takapatakacho, asataka pachakapasataka, Asachokopatoko, Sakatoko, Nabataka, Asataka Batakacho, Sotaka Tiboko, Asati Boko Tokocho, Sokopataka, Asataka patakata, asatapataka tokobotoko batakachapoko sataka patikataka patakotoboko kotoboko tobotaka, asachapoko toko sotaka patiki kotoko sotoko bataka katakata poko toko kotocho, asakacha patakata chokoboto, apachakasa tapakatakataka kotoko kotoko kotopachaka, asataka patakachoko sotoko bataka katakachapoko takapatacha, akachasa patakachapoko sotokocho, asachapa chakata sapatakoto. Ikatobotoko, akatoko pochoko, sotoko botoko, akachasapataka potoko, achasapataka koto, asataka bachakataka satoko po, asachasatapoko toko botoko, asachasakapatoko kotoko choko taka Asataka choboto, asachasaka toko choko sotoko toko. So some harmonizing and rebalancing now of the spine, the cerebrospinal fluid. The nervous system. Asataka chapasataka bataka toko boto asachasaka bataka taka kataka toko Asa chakapataka sataka asa chasakapataka katoko koko toko koko toko chipoko sotoko poko achasapataka kakatoko koko toko koko akachasapataka katoko koko topoko koko akataka katoko koko koko akatapokoto akata anko otopoko o akatapoko choko sotopoko koko topoko koko. Okay, it's clearing the DNA and feeling the center of the brain and the parts of the brain in the top of the brainstem, like the thalamus, the hypothalamus, the glands, the pineal gland, the pituitary gland. I'm seeing RNA, so it's working with the RNA. Feeling that clearing through the body as that's communicated through the structures and propagated through the body. That clearing. Asataka kato koko atpo atakpo otokpo chuboko asakata pakatoko koko sotoko koko sotoko koko toko koko toko asakata poko aka toko potokoto asakata pakakata. The head's clearing, the brain's clearing. Akatoko koso toko poko koko toko chupo sakata kato asakata kakato apatoko ko akatapako asakata kakako. The waters within the body, the fluids are now being cleaned, akatoko, purified and elevated to a crystalline, akatoko, akachokoko, like crystal, like clean, akachokoko, katapakata kotopoko, akatasakapatoko kotopoko, asakatakapotoko kotokocho. Asakata poko toko chopoko sotoko toko asakata koko toko koko asakata kakatoko koko asakata kakako, the joints, the knees, asakata koko toko poko asakata kakako akasata kakaka toko koko asakata kakoko toko koko. The joints in the spine akatoko koko to patokocho asakatakaka, so like the cartilage, akatokoko, asakatakatakato, katokoko, asakatika katokoko, sotokoko, akatasakatokoko, asakatakopo, tokochipoko, sokopatakaka, akatokoko, satapatoko, isakatakakata, sakatokoko, topoko, isakatakasataka, tokoko, asakatakakatako. Asakatakako toko asakatakako toko toboko asakatakaka satoko sotoko tokocho asakatakako choko toko asakatakaka toko sotoko to asakatakako toko to sokotoko to asakatakaka satakaka toko asakatoko some real cleaning out through the lining of the stomach. Inakatakatoko sotoko asakatakatako toko sotoko asakatakako asakatakaka toko asakatakakatoko asakatakatakato asakatakoko tokochoko asakatakoko choko toko sotoko choko asakatapotoko choko sotakapatakatakaboko choko toko sotakapatoko asakatakakatako sotoko sotoko asakatakatako sotoko topoko asakatakakatako toko choko Akachoko, asatokopo, asakachakoko, tokoboko, asakachakboko, toboko, tokoko, asakatakoko, tokoko. I'm feeling clearing out through the mucous membranes, the fluids, the breath, even the air that we're breathing, the breath. Asakatakakakam, kochoko, akatokoko, isakatakakatakacho, atapoko, atakata, asakatakako, satokobotokocho, atakaboko. Isatakabatakatako, satokobotokoko, asakatabakataka, satakakako, tokokoko, nkotopoko, ntakatoko, akatakakato, sokoto, asakabatakoko, topoko, toko, anakatakata, antakata, oh. Feeling a really big heart expansion and a crown expansion. And the energy fields clearing and reorganizing. It's a really clean, crystalline midline going from heaven through the middle, the midline down into the earth. Your energy fields are expanded and clean. Nakanoko no atakokotoko opotoko o. Yeah, okay. So that's it. I would really recommend listening to that several times over. It will work through the top layer each time, and then when you're ready for the next layer, it will work through the next layer. And to receive the codes from the paintings, really just with an open heart, allow your eyes to wander over the paintings, taking in the colours and the shapes. From a receptive heart space, and you will receive the codes as and when you're ready to. Blessings, everybody.